What's up, YouTube? Thank you so much for joining me once again for another episode of Life by Design. So today is going to be a mega compilation tutorial on how to create your Amazon business from scratch. So I want to go over with you the outline for today's episode, and I got probably about 4 pages worth of stuff here that I typed up. And so we got a lot to discuss today, and I want to go over them with you one by one, because there's a lot of stuff here and I don't want to miss anything. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is what is Amazon FBA and why you should be doing it. Is it still a viable thing in 2019 or is it not? Let's find out. The second thing is, how do you sell on Amazon FBA when there are so many gated categories? There's so many different products, so many different categories that are available, but you don't know where to begin. And so there's a lot of criteria as well on Amazon, because you can't just take a product and sell it on Amazon and expect it to sell $1 million a year. These are the things that we're going to be discussing in this episode. The other thing is, Alibaba, although it's not a complex thing, it kind of is to the person who isn't familiar with it. It can be a little bit of a daunting task in the beginning. So I want to talk to you about a little bit about Alibaba and how to talk to suppliers, how to ask for samples, how to place an order with them, how do you know if they're trustable or not. These are the things I want to talk to you about. So after that, you're going to want to set up your Amazon account. You're going to want to create your listings on Amazon. These are the other things that we're going to be talking about. And then finally, once your products are on Amazon, what to do when you have your products on Amazon, or what to do when the products are coming in from China. You have a lot of things to do before then, prior to your products arrive. So this and all these other things we're going to be discussing about in this episode. So in the meantime, please don't forget to like and subscribe. There's going to be a ton of videos after this video, and I'm probably going to create separate videos for every single one of the things that I just talked about and talk more about it in depth. So there's a lot to come, but in the meantime, let's talk about the first one, which is what is Amazon FBA and why you should begin. And I want to talk to you first about how I started and what I'm currently doing now with private labeling, because it will relate to you and how you begin as well. Maybe in a little way, maybe in a big way, you decide. All right, so first things first, I started Amazon FBA in 2014. I started with retail and online arbitrage. I'll link a couple of videos to this video and you can take a look at them. I outline the pros and cons of retail online arbitrage, and I outline the pros and cons of private labeling, because this video that I'm creating for you is not about retail and online arbitrage. It's specifically about private labeling. Private labeling is something that I'm currently doing, but when I first started, I started with retail and online arbitrage. I'm not going to be talking about that in this video. However, you can watch my other video that pertains to that first if you'd like, and then come back to this one. But anyways, I started in 2014. It was backbreaking work. It didn't work for me anymore. I was making a lot of profit. However, I wanted something that was more sustainable. I wanted something that made a lot of money without me having to work a lot in return. So I enjoyed the whole process. It was fabulous. I loved it. It was great. However, I always wanted to do private labeling. I always wanted to create something that had equity. Now you see, if you're selling private label products and you have your own website, you have your own brand name, you have your own UPC, you have your own trademark. All of these things create equity for you in the long run, because when your product does well, not only is it selling on Amazon, but it's also selling on eBay. It's also selling on all the other marketplaces. You can also sell it on your own website. All of these things seemed lucrative for me, because at the end of the day, when I create something from scratch, I always have an end game in mind. So I want to build up this business to where it's making a whole lot of money and eventually sell the business. Have something in the back of your mind that says, where am I now? Where am I going to end up probably in the next 5 years from now? So my business is only 2 years old. Maybe in the next 10 years, maybe in the next 5 years. Once it gets to a certain point, I will sell it. I will sell my Amazon products. I don't think you can sell your Amazon account, but you can sell your Amazon products to someone else so they can fulfill it and they can sell it on their end. And what I'll do is I'll just create something else. And now I have a product that is viable. Now I have a product that has equity. Now I have a product that I can sell to someone else once I want to cash out of that and start something brand new again. And this is what made Amazon FBA private labeling very, very lucrative for me. And this is how I started. To date, it's only been 2 years, but to date, I've made well over $1.4 million on Amazon. I know, it's crazy, it's exciting. Amazon is doing all the work. I ship my products to Amazon. Amazon takes these products. They have a massive, massive operation, as you might already be aware. You've probably seen tons of videos on Amazon. They take your product, they ship it to all the other warehouses. So if somebody orders it, they get it the next day, or they get it within the hour, depending on how they choose to have it delivered. They can have it within 2 days. They do the customer service for you. Well, not 100%, because customers are still going to email you, but you get the idea. They do the returns for you. They do the shipping for you. Your job is fulfill the products to Amazon, send them into Amazon. Your job, order the products from China, make sure that you're constantly selling on Amazon. Never, ever, ever go out of stock. That's your job. Pay-per-click campaigns, giveaways, getting your product listed on Amazon, fixing up your keywords, getting great images, separating yourself from the competition. This is your job. Everything else Amazon does for you. You're going to get to a point where you're going to do everything that you need to do, and there's not going to be much left for you to do for that particular product. At that point, now it's time to figure out product number 2, product number 3, product number 4, so on and so forth. Having a product is like having a new baby. You can't have a new baby every single day. We all know we can't do that. You can't have a new baby every 3 months, every 2 months. It's just not possible. While I'm not saying you should have a new product every 9 months, it's good to make sure that the product is doing well before launching another product. That's all I'm saying. So release a new product every 4 to 5 months, make sure the previous product is doing well, and then focus on something else. And so this is how I started. This is how I started Amazon FBA. It's my second full year doing private labeling, but I've been on Amazon since 2014, so it's been 4 or 5 years. And on top of that, I've been selling online, which is drop shipping, and I explained that in my other videos as well. I've been drop shipping and making a living on Amazon. I've been drop shipping and making a living on the internet since 2001. So I kind of know what I'm talking about when it comes to not only Amazon, but selling online. And so I want to teach you everything that I know. And in this episode, we're going to be discussing primarily how to sell your products, specifically private labeling, on Amazon. So the outline is basically going to be how to sell on Amazon. There are gated categories, what not to sell, what categories you can sell in, the criteria to search for, sourcing your products from Amazon, setting up your Amazon account and your listings, shipping your products to Amazon, and of course setting up your pay-per-click campaigns, giveaways, etc., etc. So these are the things that I'm going to be discussing with you today. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is what is Amazon FBA, and is it still viable in 2019? So to answer your question, is Amazon FBA still viable in 2019? Heck yeah! Oh my God, heck yeah! Amazon is doing wonderful right now. Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world. They are the probably number 2 or number 3 or number 4. Anyways, top 5 biggest company in the world, alongside Apple and Google and all those other guys. Amazon currently has 49% of the market share in the United States and in the world when it comes to e-commerce. So these are some huge, huge, huge numbers. And I think I read a report that there was a number or a certain percentage of Amazon sellers who are new or existing sellers that were making $500,000 a year or more. So to answer your question, yes, today is a fantastic time to get into Amazon. Don't believe what anybody else says that Amazon is difficult. Amazon is oversaturated. There are way too many sellers, blah, blah, blah. That should be a big reason why you should be selling on Amazon, because there's so much competition. There are so many people out there selling, and you just have to separate yourself. You just have to make your products and your services a little bit better than everybody else. And we'll discuss more about that in this episode. So step number 1, we got to figure out what to sell on Amazon, right? So before you actually begin to start looking for products to sell on Amazon, realize one thing. Amazon is an open marketplace. You can sell a lot of merchandise on Amazon. However, certain categories on Amazon are gated. You want to be careful not to find and choose any products in these gated categories. A lot of sellers make the mistake of purchasing a product, and once they buy a boatload of it from China, they list the product. Guess what? That is a category that's gated or restricted, and guess what? They lost all that money. Now they have to figure out another way to sell it aside from selling it on Amazon. So I made a list for you guys, and some of the gated categories are automotive and power sports, clothing, accessories, shoes, and luggage, collectible books, collectible coins, entertainment collectibles, fine arts, fine jewelry, gift cards, grocery and gourmet, Kindle accessories, major appliances, sexual wellness, sports and collectibles, textbook rentals, toys and games, video, DVD, and Blu-ray, watches, and wine. Now, since these are gated categories, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's impossible to sell in. So if you want to sell in these categories, you have to get ungated first. You have to go through a process that allows you to sell your products on Amazon. However, we don't want to make it more difficult than it is. We're not going to touch any of these categories. We're going to go to categories that allow you to sell in them without having to go through a lot of effort. And there's a ton of them to pick from. So let's talk about that. All right, so now you know what categories that are gated. I suggest that you stay away from the gated categories because there are a lot of categories that are not gated that you can easily sell in. You don't have to go through Amazon in order to figure out if you want to sell in these categories or not. Since your account, I'm assuming since your account is going to be brand new on Amazon and you've never sold on Amazon, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to convince Amazon to let you sell in a specific category than if you were a seasoned seller on Amazon, already starting out with with retail or online arbitrage, and you have some history on Amazon. So my suggestion is to sell in the categories that are not gated. In this way, you make your life a lot easier this way. So some of the categories that you should be selling it in are arts, crafts, and sewing, baby, health and personal care, home and garden, home improvement, kitchen and dining, office products, patio, lawn and garden, pet supplies, outdoors, sports and outdoors. So these are the categories that I suggest that you sell in. Some of these categories like health and personal care and beauty, those are categories that when I started, they were a gated category. However, now it's a category that you can sell in. There are a ton of products in these categories that you can sell in. And the good news is that every single one of these categories, people are always looking for stuff to buy for everyday use. So this is my suggestion for you. Sell in something that is readily available to be sold in instead of you having to apply for an ungated category and wasting a lot of time. All right, so now you know about Amazon's gated categories, and you also know about Amazon categories that are not gated. Sell in the categories that are not gated. And now I want to focus your attention on what not to sell, because these are products that, although to me, it's kind of obvious not to sell, maybe to some people it's not. And I'm not saying that to make fun of anybody, but still, you never know. But you can't sell alcohol. You can't sell animals and animal products. You can't sell automotive and power sports, composite wood frames, currency, coins, cash equivalents, and gift cards, dietary supplements. Wow, I didn't know you can't sell dietary supplements. Amazon used to have tons of those listings. Drugs and drug paraphernalia. You get the idea. I'm not going to go through a huge list. There's a lot of them here, so I'm not going to go through this. But what I will do, though, is include all of these categories that I mentioned before about which categories you can't sell in, which categories you could, and of course, what not to sell. I'm going to include this in the show notes down below, so you can definitely take a look at these. But these are items not to sell. So now you know what categories to sell in, now you know what categories not to sell in, and now you also know what items not to sell, because I'm going to include the full list down below. But now, what will you sell? What's a good viable product to sell? Let's talk about that next. So the million-dollar question is, Will, I'm new to Amazon FBA. I'm just getting started. What do I sell? Well, I don't have the answer for you, unfortunately. However, what I can tell you is that I do have a list and a criteria of items that when you're finally looking for that product in that category that I told you that you can sell in, these are the criteria that you go through. So the item that you're going to choose, obviously it's going to be something that's going to be a small item. And when I say small, it's going to be like this piece of paper. You don't want it to be any bigger than this. The reason for that is because Amazon is going to charge you a lot of money and you're going to lose on profit. So if an item is huge, let's just say the size of a chair, you're going to lose a lot of money on that product because Amazon is going to take a huge cut. So something to think about. You want a product that's small and light. And speaking of light and weight, you want it to be under 2 pounds. So a small item and something that's under 2 pounds is what you want to be looking for. Now, the cost of the product on Amazon should be anywhere between $15 and $50. Now, me personally, I wouldn't sell anything that's under $30, $40. Why? Because I have to sell a ton of it in order to make a lot of money. When I sell a product on Amazon, I want it to be anywhere between $35, $40, all the way up to $50, $55. Now, once you cross the threshold of $50 to $55, if you're not a well-known brand, people on Amazon, they're going to look at your product. Maybe you have 0 reviews. They're going to be a little bit apprehensive about buying your product over your competition's that has a ton of reviews already and is very well known in the market. So that's something to shy away from. Make sure that your product is anywhere between $15 and $50. Now, if you have a lot of capital and you can put money towards a better product and maybe sell it for 35, 40 bucks, all the power to you. That's my suggestion, and that's what I do when I sell products on Amazon. So the other suggestion I have for you is make sure it's a product that's simple and is not going to break. Other than that, you want a product that fits into a category that you can expand later on. You can sell other products that are related to that product. Because when you find products on Amazon, if you take a look down below, it'll say this product, whatever you're buying on Amazon, if you look at a product on Amazon, whatever you're purchasing, it's going to show related products. And of course, it's going to show products that other people bought along with whatever that's being sold. So if you position your product where later on you can also release another product that is complementary to whatever you're selling, that's one way of expanding your product base. And that's something that I look at when I'm choosing a product. And finally, you want something that is sold year-round. You don't want to start your first product as something that's seasonal. I know it's kind of like a no-brainer. However, people don't think about this kind of stuff. If you're going to sell sweaters or if you're going to sell something that can only be used in the wintertime, there's going to be a lot of downtime in the summer or in the spring season. So that's something to think about. You want something that sells all year round. And I suggest going on Google Trends, because if you go to Google Trends and you type up a specific keyword, let's just say pet hair cleaner or something like that, you might see that pet hair cleaner, just an example keyword, is being used all year round. So that's a good product to possibly look for and sell. And other than that, the last criteria I have is something that's eligible for Amazon PPC, which is pay-per-click. Amazon allows anyone to use the pay-per-click search engine whenever they're selling their product. You want to make sure that the category that you're in and the product that you're selling allows PPC. So I don't have a list for that, but I'm sure you can go online and take a look at it. So that's basically it. And to recap, the criteria for choosing a product in the category that is open is a small item, something about the size of this piece of paper or smaller, hopefully a lot smaller than this. You want it to be less than 2 pounds. You want the price to be anywhere between $15 and $50. You want it to be simple and not easily breakable. You want this to fit in a category that you can easily expand on later. You want this to be a product that can be bought all year round. You don't want a seasonal product as your first product. When you have 4 or 5 products and you have a couple of seasonal products, that's okay, because now your other products are selling well. And this product is doing well during Christmas season, and it does way better than all your other products are doing in the entire year. That's a good reason to do seasonal products, but not as your first product. You want your first product to rock it all year long. And last but not least, you want something that is eligible for Amazon's PPC, and then the categories that I told you to sell in, and the types of products that I discussed with you I think most of those products are going to be allowed to have PPC. So that's something really not to worry about too much, but all the other things, definitely important. So that's basically the criteria on choosing a product. All right, so moving on. Now we're in the section where after you decide what product you're going to sell, you're going to want to source these products. Now it's moving on to Alibaba.com. Alibaba is a website that's created by Jack Ma. In my opinion, it is the Silk Road of the digital century. Back in the days, I don't know, thousands of years ago, we had the Silk Road that connected Europe with the Middle East, and all these countries used to trade with one another. And so now we're in the 21st century, and now we have the digital age. The internet is bringing everyone a lot closer, and as a result of that, Alibaba, which is a tremendous website, it's going to make a lot of money for you as well, is something that I want to recommend for you. And Alibaba is a great place, but in the beginning, it could be a little bit tedious. In the beginning, it could be a little bit frightening to get started and pay a whole lot of money for a product or products and trust people from another country where you've never seen, you've never dealt with, you've never discussed, you never had any, you never talked with them one-on-one. It's kind of difficult, but I think we can get over that phase because there are a couple of filters on Alibaba that we can go through that would make things a lot easier for us, and we can find people that we can trust on Alibaba. So now we're basically in Alibaba.com, and I'm going to teach you now how to search for companies that you can buy products from. So find a keyword that you're looking for. Say, for instance, you're looking for sunglasses and you want specifically bamboo sunglasses. So you put bamboo sunglasses in the search box, click on search, and then wait until everything pops up. And so here are all the different items on Alibaba that you can potentially purchase. There's a whole lot of them over here. But what you want to do is you want to filter through all these different companies because there are 2,457 results for bamboo sunglasses 2019. Now I put the keyword 2019 in there because I wanted the latest styles. And that's something that you can do as well because a lot of these companies that create products, you know, the sunglass industry is constantly evolving, so companies are going to put 2018, 2019, et cetera, just to make sure that you realize that this is a brand new style that's out. Now that's not 100% accurate at all times because sometimes they just want your attention, so they might put 2019 if a style is still from 2018 or older. So that's something for you to investigate and figure out later on. But for now, this is the entire list here, and let's go ahead and filter through this list now by clicking on this little button here on the top right-hand corner. All right, so now we have a list that is easily manageable, and what you want to filter for are trade assurance. And actually, before we do that, let's click on suppliers because these are products, and sometimes the same supplier, what they'll do is they'll include the multiple different pictures of the same products. So what we'll do is we'll go back there and click on suppliers instead. And then next, what you want to do is you want to filter by trade assurance. And now we have 136 suppliers. And let's see if we can filter that a little bit more because if you click on verify, we should have 20 suppliers now. So these suppliers, they've actually done a significant amount of business. As you can see, the transaction levels are 3 diamonds, 3.5 diamonds, 2 diamonds, 3 diamonds, 3 diamonds, 2.5 diamonds. So you want to do business with any company that has at least 2.5 diamonds or above. This means that they've done a lot of transactions. They're a pretty big company, and they're pretty reliable because obviously people are buying from them. And so when you filter out the company you want to work with, obviously you want to click on the company name, just open it up in a separate tab, take a look at the products that you're interested in, and once you figure out a product that you like, let's just say it's a wooden watch. I wonder what that's like. So let's just say it's this particular product here. And so now you like this product and you want to purchase this product wholesale. But first you want to get a sample of it to see how it is. What you're going to do is you're going to copy the link And I've provided you in the show notes down below this template here. So in the template, I wrote, my company, XYZ Inc., would like to purchase 1,000 MOQ. MOQ stands for minimum order quantity. Now, one thing on Alibaba is it's a wholesale business on Alibaba. Alibaba does not sell onesies and twosies. That's AliExpress. So make sure that when you're going to Alibaba and you're sending a message to these suppliers, make sure that you're going in there with a wholesale mindset. They're not going to sell anything less than 500 or 1,000 MOQ. Once again, MOQ is minimum order quantity. So what you want to do is you want to give them an exact URL of the product that you want to purchase, because a lot of times what these suppliers do is they have multiple products and they have multiple pictures for the same product, and so you need to be very, very specific with them. And so you want to ask them these specific questions. Of course, it always pertains to your particular product. Make sure to customize this for your own product. For this case, these are bamboo sunglasses, or these would be bamboo watches or wood watches or whatever they are. Is this real bamboo? Is this real wood? What is the price for pieces or unit? Now, in China, what they like to refer to units, they like to refer to it as pieces, PCS. So you can say that and they'll know what you're talking about, but you can also put /unit. That's also acceptable as well. They're going to know what you're talking about. And what I like to do is sometimes I like to put products together to create a bundle, and I like to ask them if they can ship directly to my supplier, because then this would make it a lot easier for me, and it would be more cost effective if they were shipped directly to my supplier in Alibaba, my supplier in China, which could potentially be close to them, and it doesn't have to come to the United States and then go back to China, and et cetera, et cetera. So it makes things a lot easier when they can ship directly to your supplier and have everything bundled together. And so last but not least, I always say that the 1,000 units that I'm going to order is a test order, and then in the future I'm going to be ordering 5,000 to 10,000 units per order. Now, the reason why I say that is because I don't want to seem like I'm some kind of a small company that's going to be here today and gone tomorrow. These Chinese companies, they don't want to waste any time. They want to focus on people who are going to purchase a lot from them and who are serious businessmen and businesswomen. So make yourself seem that way. You know that old quote, what's that old quote? I think it goes by, fake it till you make it, or whatever it is. But make yourself a little bit bigger than you currently are. Even if you don't have a company, just make something up. Pretend in your mind that you already have this company, have a company name in mind, and write it in the letter. And eventually you're going to create that company anyways when you launch your product. So it's not like you're lying or anything like that. You're just taking a couple of steps forward when you haven't been there yet, but you will eventually get there. So this is what I would recommend for you for your first product. Ask for a sample, and when you get that sample, then you can go back to them and say, all right, I like this, I don't like this, this is the changes I want to make in it, and et cetera, and you can go forward from there. All right, so now you've found the product that you're looking for on Alibaba, and now it's time to look for samples. Now it's time for ask for samples. You've created a list of 10 or 15 different people on Alibaba that you can potentially source this product from. So you're going to email every single one of these people, and you're going to ask them for a sample. Obviously, you're not going to buy 10 different samples, but it's entirely up to you. And the thing with people on Alibaba is that they don't want anybody to waste their time. So you want to go in there as someone who's serious. You want to go in there as a professional businesswoman or businessman. And you want to make yourself seem like you're not there to waste their time or your time. You want to purchase X amount of quantities. You want to purchase this particular color. You want to be very, very specific with them on the product that you're looking for, and you want to ask for a sample. When these samples come in, evaluate the products, email them back right away, and place an order with them. Now, let's fast forward maybe a month. Your products are, you got your samples, and this might take a month, but it might not. So you got your sample, now you know which company you want to work with and the price is right. You order this product from Alibaba. once you order the product from Alibaba, now you got to get it into the States. Now, do you use Alibaba? Do you use a third-party company? That's entirely up to you, but if you want to use my suggestion, I use Worldcraft Logistics. They are hands down probably the best logistics company that handles products from overseas, bringing it directly to the United States. I haven't really used them yet to ship products directly from China to Amazon. I'm still a little apprehensive about doing that. However, I do ship my products to the United States, and their offices are located in California, so it makes getting your products a little bit faster by a few days, not by a whole lot. But this company is fantastic, and Worldcraft Logistics is somebody I highly recommend. I'll include a note in the I'll include a link in the show notes, and you can take a look at them. But anyways, it's up to you. There's 100 companies out there that you can be looking for. Anyways, contact Worldcraft Logistics. Send them your PI, which is your performa invoice that the company is going to provide for you. In it is going to have the price of the product, and it's going to have the weight and the measurement and all that other stuff. Now make sure that your performa invoice does not include the cost of your shipping, because if it does, then at that point you're paying an additional amount of customs fees for your product as well. So you want to make sure that the performa invoice is just the product by itself. And so send this to Worldcraft Logistics or any other company that you decide to work with. And then they're going to contact the company in China. They'll get everything sorted for you. And then you're going to have to wait 30 to 45 days until the product arrives in the United States. So between asking for the sample and getting your product, you're looking at 2 to 2.5 months. And now in between that 2 to 2.5 months, you got a lot of preparation to do. And so this is the next thing that we're going to be talking about. And so in between that 2 and 2.5 months, you have a lot of preparation to do for the products to arrive, but there's going to be a lot of time that is going to be wasted if you're not going to work on other things while this product is coming. So let's talk about what happens when your products arrive and you're ready to ship to Amazon. But before that, what are the steps that we need to take to make sure that everything is ready and the product is polished and ready to go? All right, so now we are at the stage of setting up your Amazon account and your listings. And that's basically creating your barcode, asking your supplier for the artwork templates, going to Fiverr and hiring a designer, having your design ready before the product arrives, and then getting custom images created for the box design as well as the product itself. Now, that said, if you have one of those little photo boxes and you have a professional camera, I would suggest taking some pictures in the beginning just to have everything, but don't depend on that. You're spending a lot of time, you're spending a lot of money. Obviously, you're going to create a brand from scratch. Do this the professional route. Send it into a company that takes professional photos and get it done, pay a little bit of money, and now you have a winning product and winning pictures. This is what I've done, and we're going to go over that in this section. All right, so your product is on its way. It's going to take about 30 to 45 days. That's a whole lot of time to prepare for other things. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create a barcode for this product. Every single product on Amazon needs a barcode or a UPC. And you're going to get your UPC from maybe 2 different places. It's all up to you what your budget is. But I get my UPCs from GS1. I know it's a whole lot of money, and there are other companies who are providing different services. There's another company called Simply Barcodes, and they sell barcodes per unit. You can go that route, but I get mine from GS1. It's up to you how you want to do yours. In the meantime, you want to ask your supplier for the artwork templates. And what I like to do is I like to get the artwork templates. If you're selling an electronic product or something that has instructions, you want to get the template for the instructions. You want to get the template for the box. And you're going to send the box template and the instruction template maybe to one or more than one Fiverr guy. Fiverr was a website in the beginning when it first came out about spending $5 for a particular thing. It's no longer about that, so consider spending $30, $40, $50 for something quality. And pick somebody that has a lot of experience and look at their samples and create something with them. Now, I'm going to create a separate video on how to hire Fiverr people to do the work for you, But in this video, I want to keep it a little bit simple by just telling you that you need to make sure that this person knows what they're doing and to hire somebody that has prior experience in what it is that you're developing. Don't just go to a designer, go to a designer that has experience in creating a box, a designer box. You want to go to a designer that creates instruction booklets and PDF documents. Those are the kind of people you want to go to, and you want to make sure that they are a professional and they're a specialist in what they're doing. So you have some time now to create that. It's going to take probably a couple of weeks for you to design a new box and design the instruction manual if your product requires one. And in the meantime, send them your UPC code. They're going to take your UPC code and they're going to create a barcode for it and put it on the back of your box. Now you can take a look at other boxes for examples and just send it to the designer and let them know how you want to make yours in a more unique way. And so creating your barcode, creating your box design, creating your instruction manual if it requires one, these are things that you can do while your product is being en route to the United States to be shipped over to Amazon. And the other thing that I would recommend is if you have your product in hand and your product doesn't need a box and it doesn't need anything additional, I really, really hope that your product does need a box because it's nice to have one. It's nice to brand the product. But in the case where your product doesn't have a box, and you can send your product to a company called Upgraded Images, and Upgraded Images takes all the pictures for me for all my products. And this is the company I recommend for you. The guy's name who I usually go to, he's the company owner. His name is Ken. He's done a wonderful job for me. So I would definitely recommend sending it to Ken. Upgraded Images, 5-star quality. They get stuff done right away. And I believe they're in California, but don't quote me wrong. But anyways, that's what I recommend you do. Create your box design, use your manual if it requires one, create your images. You're going to do all this stuff before your product arrives, and you're going to create all your images for Amazon. I believe Amazon requires 1,500 by 1,500 images at a minimum for showcasing your product. And I would create a minimum of 5 to 7 images for your particular product, depending on which category you're going to sell in. So these are the things that you do prior to your product arriving from China to the United States. And these are the prerequisites that you need to take care of. All right, so how are we doing so far? I know there's been a whole lot of information, but I want to stop here for a second and I want to quickly recap what we talked about in this episode because there's been a lot. So in 2014, like I mentioned, I got started with retail and online arbitrage. I did that until I got tired of it. It was a lot of work. And then I started to work on my private label business up until today. Currently, I'm doing private labeling as well, and it's been huge. It's currently passive for me. I really don't work a lot on private labeling. That's why I'm doing YouTube, putting some effort into this, teaching you what I learned along the way. And I've been doing online e-commerce since 2001. It's been a full 18 years. Yay, go me. But anyways, is Amazon FBA still a viable thing to do in 2019? Heck yeah, definitely. Hell yeah, I definitely recommend Amazon FBA. We talked about gated categories. Gated categories that require approval. As a new seller, don't do it. There are categories that you can sell in. I recommended them to you. They're also in the show notes. You can take a look at them down below. I recommended products not to sell, and I told you what categories to sell, and I gave you a search criteria once you figure out in the category that you want to sell in, what kind of products to look for, and the criteria to go through once you found that particular product. Does it fit in this category? Excuse me, does it fit in this criteria? Next, we discussed how to find a product on Alibaba, what to do, and how to contact these people on Alibaba. We discussed all about that. And then we talked about setting up your Amazon account and your listings, creating your barcodes, asking suppliers for artwork, going to Fiverr and creating the artwork for it. And then, of course, getting images for your product from a company I recommended, upgradedimages.com. The guy you should speak to or contact, his name is Ken. I think he's going to get overloaded once this video launches. But anyways, you're welcome, Ken. And then last but not least, shipping your products to Amazon, and that's where we are currently. All right, so the big day is here. Worldcraft Logistics finally told you that your products have arrived, and now it's time for you to make the decision on how you want your products to be shipped. Now, if you have a couple of pallets, then you're going to want to ship this using LTL, which is less than truckload. It's going to be a lot cheaper than that. And if your products are a couple of boxes, maybe 5, 10, 15 boxes, you're going to want to ship this using UPS. Now, the great news is on Amazon, you're going to get next to nothing shipping. And what do I mean by that? You're going to pay next to nothing. It's probably going to be under 30, 40, 50 cents a pound to ship using an Amazon partnered carrier, which is going to be UPS or FedEx for small amounts, and then LTL, which is less than truckload, to get your products picked up by a physical truck and delivered directly to an Amazon warehouse. So those are two different ways to get your product shipped out to Amazon. And depending on how many products you have, depending on how big of a shipment you have, it's either LTL or using UPS FedEx. That's my recommendation for you. We are now in the last part of having your products. Now, this is a huge day. Your products have shipped to Amazon. Your products are listed. All this hard work is paying off for you. Woohoo! So now you got to get this in front of eyeballs. You got to get this in front of people. Your products are there on Amazon's warehouse, ready to sell. You got your pictures up. You've priced out your product on Amazon. You created your listing. You created your title, your description, all these other things, which obviously we don't have much time to discuss, but I'll create additional videos after this video to discuss every single one of them in due time. But for now, you've created all these things, and now your product is ready for prime selling. Get it? Prime? So what do we do to get this in front of as many eyeballs as possible? So I would suggest creating a pay-per-click campaign. Remember we discussed PPC before, your item being eligible for PPC? Well, this is where this part comes in. You're gonna create an auto campaign. And when you're creating your auto campaign, you're gonna allow this auto campaign to run continuously. You're gonna set a $5 or $10 budget, and with this $5 or $10 budget, you're gonna create this auto campaign that runs in the background, and it starts creating keywords for you in the background and serving it to customers. And depending on how many customers find this product, the keywords that they search for, depending on what kind of keywords that you've put in your title, in your description, and your bullet points, Amazon gets all that information to serve it to a specific amount of customers. So that's why you want to have in your description, in your title, in your keyword, in your in your bullet points, you want to have relevant keyword-rich information. So this way, Amazon sends it to relevant customers who are looking for your relevant product. And so it's going to do its own thing. And then once a week, you're going to go to your auto campaign and filter out negative search terms. And by negative search terms, I mean search terms that are not relevant to your particular product. So let me just give you an example. If you're selling a shaver, your product might be mistaken for a lint shaver. Now your shaver is for your face or your legs or your body, but it might mistake it for a clothes shaver or a fabric shaver for, let's just say, your couch. These are the things that you want to filter out, so you're not paying for clicks that are unrelated. And once a week, you're going to go back to your pay-per-click campaign and you're going to negative keyword things that are irrelevant for you. And what happens after that is that it's going to become cheaper and cheaper, and your ACOS, which is your actual cost of acquisition, is going to continue to get lower and lower. So in the beginning, you might start out with an ACOS of 30%, but the ideal area is to get it anywhere between 10 and 15%. Hopefully under 10% is where you want to have it. My ACOS right now is very, very optimized, and I still keep an auto campaign. I don't do anything else, but my auto campaign ACOS is anywhere between 7 to 9% depending on the season. And I like to keep it that way, and that should be your goal as well. And my friends, that is Amazon FBA A to Z, how to start an Amazon FBA business from scratch. Believe me, this is a comprehensive list. Now, every single one of these things that I told you has a little bit more information. It has some more detail. You can do some research on your own how to find the little bits and pieces. But basically, this is it. You can take this information and now use it to your benefit to look for a product. Now you know which categories to sell in. Now you know which categories not to sell in. So that's basically it. And just so you know, I'm completely open to answering any additional questions you might have, because some of these things may not be clear, but I made sure that they're as clear as possible. So please don't forget to comment down below. Let me know two things: what kind of content you want in the future, because I can create it. Obviously, I have the experience for it and I'm doing it currently. And number two, what are you confused about in today's topic on how to sell on Amazon FBA A to Z? What's confusing for you? What do you need some clarity on? I want to be able to answer that for you. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.